opted to go with an unchanged starting 15, the first time in 31 games.
Yeah, they got the same pack as last week that beat Glasgow. You got Muldoon as captain. He's their number 8. I want you to keep an eye on the very mobile McCartney at hooker as well. He's up for a big game today. And then you got your backs, AJ McGinty there, I mentioned, the fly half from the United States. He's been doing very well this year, kicking a 93% rate at the moment for his penalty kicks and things like that. So Bundy Aki as well at centre has been very powerful and had a fantastic game last week against Glasgow.
And taking a look at Luke Cullen's Leinster.
Leinster, yeah. Moloney came in for Devon Toner, whose father sadly passed away last night. So he stepped in there at second row. You got Heaslip looking to do big things at number 8. He's taken over the captaincy role as Nessawa has been out injured. Who's normally fullback, but Rob Kearney, he's come back in today as fullback, coming back from injury. Missed out on last week, but there he is. Perfect timing for him. And keep an eye on young Ringrose. He's been doing big things as well. Very young, 21 years old. And unluckily missed out on Ireland selection this coming week.
So it's going to be the 7th Pro12 final for Leinster, but first for Connacht in their best season in club history. Can they complete the fairy tale? Find out. Guinness Pro12 final from BT Murrayfield. It's underway next.
And the conditions, well, they could not be better. Read an early touch. And again, he was superb against Ulster. As were Leinster generally. Hitting their peak form at exactly the right time. Can they carry that into the final? Well, they've carried into the Connacht 22 early on. Reading again. Not the best service. Strauss didn't panic though. Here's Rhys Ruddock. Big physical presence alongside Heaslip in that back row, sort of Heaslip in the making in many ways. Natural leader. And there is the leader, with no Issa Nathewa ruled out because of that arm injury. Teo. Sexton. At the moment, Connacht can't get their hands on it. Heaslip, good offload. Nick Carney. Redding. Fitzgerald. Goes on tour to South Africa with Ireland. He looked fizzing last week, Fitzgerald, but now Connacht might be fizzing. First chance to have a go. O'Halloran. Eddie Lucan. Trying the stroke of half-time last week. And what a noise that followed. Muldowney, his final game. So too Henshaw before he joins Leinster, of course. And that's been knocked forward. And we'll eventually get our first set piece.
Well, Connacht, when they get ball, are going to have to protect it quite well. In the semi-final last week, first 20 minutes, it just felt, well, it was all Leinster, and that's the period of the game where they laid down the supremacy. The first 100 seconds of that game, Ian, all Leinster. Finals, they are about experience. Exuberance, if it's going to conquer it, needs some ball. If Leinster get a good start, they're going to feel very comfortable with all their know-how.
But last week at the RDS, Leinster certainly imposed themselves on the opposition. They used that muscle memory talked about throughout the evening. All had a wealth of experience, but physically they intimidated Ulster. They're going to want to try and do exactly the same thing against Connacht, who are living the dream at the moment.
There's no excuses, it's firm. Crunch!
Voice there of Nigel Owens, the referee. Service is firm. It's perfect. Two of the best runs in the competition. Connacht statistically the best. Young Ringrose will be playing with Henshaw next season. Henshaw having signed a 3-year deal, but Connacht absorbed the disappointment of the loss of Henshaw really well. He leaves with their best wishes, but he's got some unfinished business. Good tackle comes in from McCartney there. He's been such a major part of the Connacht forward effort this season.
And he was outstanding last week against Glasgow.
Sexton hoists. And that might fall to Dave Carney. It does. Not too convincing there, O'Halloran. And driven out. But it's another good position here for Leinster.
Well, Sexton's kicking game was brilliant, but it's not just the kicker. The Carney brothers are both superb chasers. Luke Fitzgerald turned a strength of Ulster into a weakness. Now, there's outstanding potential players in the back three of Connacht, but O'Halloran, Adeolucan and Healy are going to be tested. Healy is a man much talked about for not making the island tour to South Africa, and I think Johnny Sexton today is going to probe and just try and say that's why these guys aren't going, because they can't handle the pressure. The kicking game of Leinster is going to be crucial.
Well, it was outstandingly accurate last week against Ulster. Connacht have a terrific counter-attacking game. How do you stop that? You kick to compete, or you kick to turn. Don't allow O'Halloran to run from deep with plenty of space to attack.
Connacht have cut the line out. Should be some pressure on, but it's accurate from McCartney. Really good. Leinster feel that there's a chance to splinter it. Marmion. And McGinty gets away.
Pressure from Reading, squeezing him onto the left foot there. Line-out's going to be interesting today. The terribly sad absence of Devon Toner does give a chance to Connacht to put some pressure on. Muldowney and Delan are outstanding line-out forwards, and it might just be an area. Last week, Leinster took Ulster to the cleaners there. This might be a chance for Connacht to put some pressure on.
Here's Strauss. He's going towards the tail as well. And a hand on it. Sexton to Teo, and has made most appearances for Leinster in the Pro12 this season. He's been wonderfully consistent. He's got in that international call. Mick Carney, another carry from him. Sexton, nice. Rob Carney trying to join the line, coming back off Connacht. And Nigel Owens have to get out of the way there.
Hands away, White Cross now.
Adeolucan comes into play at half-back. McKeown was there.
Stay back.
And Marmion now back in position. Ooh, nearly lost control of it as well. He didn't. And it's a pretty effective clearance.
Almost nervy there from Kieran Marmion, but how cool the start from Johnny Sexton. One wonderful kick, high kick, and the hands here, superb. The running line just straight as a die.
See an outside half who's full of confidence. The mix, there's a natural mix in the game. And I like outside halves. As much as we talk about analysts and coaching telling outside halves they want, I like an outside half to have a feel for the game, what's required. As we saw that.
Well, Nigel Owens found a mysterious green arm, sent that one backwards.
And had that pointed out to him, I think, on the giant screen, but explains that away to the players. No time to dwell on it as Henshaw finds O'Halloran, and here is Healy, devastating when he turns it on, and he always seems to turn it on these days. And Fitzgerald, whose opposite number is across to make the covering intervention, but Matt Healy, 9 tries in the Pro12 season, overtaken by Craig Gilroy of Ulster with those 2 in the semi-final for Gilroy last week, and that's what Connacht can do.
And that's exactly what Connacht done all season, Miles. They absorb the punishment, they're willing to counter-attack from deep, they get to the outside channel really quickly, back the pace of their back three, get it out there, really absorb, went through 2 or 3 really big defensive sets, and they worked their way back outfield. Brilliant counter-attacking from Connacht.
In comes Marmion.
Henshaw's footwork was brilliant as well to hold the drift.
Muldowney.
Advantage over from the knock on. Knocked on the line of advantage over.
That's Loughney having a go. And then Delan. McKeown. First chance really for Connacht to lay siege on the Leinster line. Muldoon leaves it. Here's McGinty, who's another player towards the end of the season that's really come to the fore for Connacht. Of course, he was involved in the World Cup for the United States. His adopted international country. Muldowney once more. Marmion, here's McGinty again. Hands are good, but as ever, the Leinster defence is good. Chipped on by Beelum, and then Muldowney was involved. Ball is loose. Ruddock. Fitzgerald just looks to see what's on. Again, it's waved on. No problem with the challenge. Here's Ringrose.
Stay back.
Still advantage for the knock forward.
Advantage over.
And this is bold from Leinster, it really is. Heaslip striding away outside the 22. Cover the ground quickly there, the number 8. Redden. Sexton. Back from Geordie Murphy. Maloney on the floor to Redden. Sexton again. It's all-out attack from both sides here. Ricard Strauss will show the ball and nearly through. Talk about playing your way out of defence.
I think the speed of the ball from the breakdown is so quick. It's dragging teams onto the ball really quickly. Prepared to back themselves.
Sexton into a bit of space. Healy goes back to cover. And he's got plenty of time. But Sexton's covering as well. This will be O'Halloran's to AJ McGinty. Another who departs Connacht at the end of the season, goes to Sale Sharks in the English Premiership. Bandiaki.
Superb from a standing start. Looks as if he'd stopped himself, got into a problem, and then off he went.
Such power. Now, that wasn't a standing start from Delan, but it had a similar sort of effect. Turnover ball, though, for Leinster. Shows how well they took it again. And their defence is famous throughout the league. And rightly so. Conceded fewest tries, fewest points in the Pro12 season. Their season's been built on it.
Well, the defence has forced a turnover, forced an error when Connacht were in their 22. Leinster are going very well in the contact stakes.
And Sexton tries that sunshine again.
Planters lost on white.
And it's taken by Strauss, but it was initially knocked on by Leinster in the lead.
Nightmare kick though, Ian, for a winger. Really good kick from Sexton again. He's calm. Here you can see Leinster are so strong. 2 big tackles and then Heaslip, third man in. Ruddock very powerful, but they're making the hits in the tackle. They're winning the battles at the breakdown at the moment.
Yeah, and Leinster are very comfortable with the kicking game. It's been a big part of their DNA throughout their period of success as well. Kicking high to compete, pressurising the opposition, and accurate with it as well. And as much as Connacht don't really keep the ball in hand as much as possible, don't have a huge amount of a kicking game, number of players the Leinster are sending back to cover that, so Connacht are forced to carry on slow ball, and eventually then you turned over.
11 minutes into the game, and we've already seen O'Halloran and Healy under big pressure from Sexton's hanging kicks.
OK, let's go to the gain line for the first time. Scott Quinnell.
Well, it's been a wonderful start to this game, but I look at confidence, and this is confidence. Absolutely wonderful year by Connacht. There's no pressure at all. They're going to go to the back of the line out. A tough throw early in the game. That just shows me they're not overawed. They're in this game. They're composed. Wonderful start.
One of the things we hear about the sort of philosophy of this Connacht side in the padlock, but there's real belief, that philosophy. There's substance to it. They back themselves. They truly believe that this is the way forward. They've worked hard in it, and they're getting their just rewards.
Well, they've been in the top 4 all season.
And if you think about it, Glasgow were on an 8-match winning run. They had to beat them twice to book their place in Edinburgh. Before that, they absolutely thrashed the mighty Munster, as it's been for so long in their history. You know, they are in form. Leinster had a big win against Ulster, but in the last month, the more consistent rugby has been played by Connacht.
That sort of metamorphosis, but becoming winners. Shaw, O'Halloran. Marmion. Well, he doesn't like that, and you can see why. He goes straight to Rob Kearney. Chance for Luke Fitzgerald to launch a counter-attack. Gets away from McGinty, going cross-field, but his pace is good. No forward pass. Connacht supporters don't like it, but they might like this. As Eddie Loken tries to get on the end of the hack through. McGinty's there as well. Matt Healy. He's got the long pass to O'Halloran if he wants it, but he wants to go up the middle and shows pace again. And he really is a threat, isn't he?
Are you sure, Joe Smith? He can play.
Diaki to O'Halloran. O'Halloran going through. This might be a chance. Here it is. Created by Healy. And finished by Tiernan O'Halloran for the first try. What a story this is.
It has to be said, if you kick well to the back three of Connacht, there's opportunities. But if you kick badly, you are going to be punished. Ryan Evans, what about this kid Healy?
You can't afford to kick that loose. He's got 30, 40 yards with a bit of speed. He picks up, he looks for gaps and little fractures in the defensive line. He backs himself, and that belief is oozing through the side. That's a no-look pass from Bundyaki. Finds the man outside him. Heaslip can't get to O'Halloran. O'Halloran's a pace to go away into open field. Connacht are comfortable in that open space. They're not agrophobic at all. They cherish being out in those open spaces. Well, Pat Lam said that his side would relish the conditions, relish the wide open spaces of this international ground. And Tiernan O'Halloran certainly showed that there. And it's kicked by McGinty, and kicked superbly. He was 4 from 4 in the semi-final. He's 93% when he's been called upon in the Pro12 this season. And there's 2 more.
He's a good player, O'Halloran, but it really is made by Healy there. And in the last 2 games this season, Connacht scored 7 at home. In the game they won 7-6. They lost 13-0 away, so they've already matched their best tally of the season.
That pass from Aki looks very simple, but he put the pass before the contact. Yeah. Give the man outside him an opportunity. And taken down by Delang.
It's a good take.
Well, there were no signs of any nerves from Connacht, but if there were any lurking somewhere, they'll have been extinguished now by this man's try. And Anya Loken's going after this. Well, he gets a bounce there, and it could have been very awkward for Rob Kearney. It was still pretty awkward, and it was knocked forward. And Connacht have the momentum.
Well, last Saturday it was a Bundyaki little chip that led to Adi Loken scoring an all-important try against Glasgow. Nothing quite as dramatic there, but again, they're getting into wide spaces, and this time they're using the chip just to make sure that Leinster can't get too flat. And this guy, Adi Loken, has got real pace. Rob Kearney can't quite handle the pressure. Fumble.
What I liked about it, AJ McGinty got the ball in his hands really quickly. Who's second receiver? John Muldoon. That willingness of the forwards. How hard work they put in improving the skill set of the forwards. They can be used as first and second receivers. Get that ball wide to that wider channel where they're so dangerous. 19 tries been scored by the back 3 of this Connacht side.
The other thing, they're playing outside Leinster's great defensive strength, which is in the midfield, because they're moving it so quickly. Width is really good for Connacht at the moment.
And the Connacht supporters making themselves heard. And Bundyaki making himself a right nuisance through the middle. His subtle touches, yes, but also all of that power. Muldoon, the captain, will be contented with the way his side has settled into this final. Heenan takes the crash there, and there's an injury to Mick Kearney. Referee Nigel Owens
quick to call a halt to play.
He was out, okay? He was out.
And as the referee and medical staff make sure everything's okay, we'll go to Scott again.
Yeah, just going to have a look at this run by Matt Healy. He's absolutely outstanding. When he comes in, he just is with that pace, but understanding that that's where the gap is. He's got a gap right, he's got a gap left, no problem at all. But he uses Muldoon, no problem. He's just standing there, but look at the feetwork. Bang! And it's the acceleration then through that gap. Absolutely wonderful there by Matt Healy.
As much as we talk about the speed, there's also patience as well. You wait for the gap. The gap will come, especially when there's forwards isolated in the middle of that park. Wait for the gap, and then you accelerate through it.
Healy, Dublin born. This man, O'Halloran, the try scorer from Galway.
Had a very good season, O'Halloran, really played well. And I think he's going to be important today, even though the try has come from a loose kick. Don't expect Sexton and Redden to go away from the policy of high box kicks, because there has been some pressure on Connacht. When the kicks have gone up, they're not going to stop.
No, but it's a premium accuracy. You get it right, it works. If you don't get it right, problems.
Well, we heard Nigel Owens say that Nick Carney was out, in his opinion, straight away. Yeah, you can see there from the replay. So he's going to have to go for a longer check, head injury assessment. And this will bring on Hayden Triggs, the New Zealand Maori, to win his 15th Leinster cap. This is why he came to Pro12 rugby, for days like these.
That's a nasty head collision there.
No Devon Toner, and our thoughts are with him and his family today.
As a mark, boys. Will you keep the space, please, okay? Don't be engaged, keep the space.
Great blindside here for Connacht. Adia Loken, we know of his threat.
Okay, boys, let's go, please.
Gregor Townsend here with us at Sky today will know all about his threat last week.
Get the space now, please. I don't want to blow it up and go again.
Born in Nigeria. Learned his rugby at Dublin University. Hasn't looked back since he joined Connacht. Oh, it's a messy scrum, and Redden loves pouncing in situations like that. 35 years of age now, and he's done that for many, many years. O'Halloran. And here's Henshaw. Marmion. Muldowney off to Grenoble to play in France. Bundyaki to Adioloken. Foot down or what? Bundyaki again. O'Halloran. Tackle from Fitzgerald. But suddenly Leinster not getting any field position.
And there's red alert when it gets to those Connacht wings. There's so much pace.
Lethal. Yeah, the possession now starting to go Connacht's way. There's Henshaw.
And that's direct contrast, Miles, to the first 20 of the semi-final in Dublin against Ulster.
McGinty finds Bundyaki. Chipped on beautifully by first O'Halloran and then McKeown. And there's Adioloken. Oh, he's got no right to get through that gap, but he did. And it's front foot ball again as Muldowney pulls it back. And here's Henshaw. Oh, he's put a lot into that. And he's put too much into it.
Just a heavy kick there, just too heavy.
How evident has Muldowney been in the middle of the park with those passes, pull-back passes as well. You can see how quite keen they are to get the ball out wide. Again, look at Benteo, go backwards because of the threat to the speed of Adioloken. He step back inside, early pass out wide. Good hands by O'Halloran.
Oh, that's a good 22.
Class from Sexton there, very clever.
Right on the money, wasn't it? Here he is again. That was nice for the fullback. more of those, he will say. Again, he busts through the first tackle. Back towards that corner, but this time Leinster will have to play it. Sexton. Henshaw is trying to get there, but it was good shepherding by Leinster. But here's Healy back into midfield with McGinty. And Bundyaki got McKeown outside. He's been a good link man before, but Bundyaki finds Adeoloken. Adeoloken. They really have to stay on him. That's well played by Jack McGrath. He was very mobile, the prop, but he hasn't got the pace of the Nigerian-born winger. Few have. But they've done well to scramble Leinster, but that's exactly what they're doing now. They're scrambling.
It's just as well they're getting turnovers, because the tackle count miss is really high for Leinster at the moment. They are missing way too many in loose play.
One of the reasons they're missing tackle, because the forwards are so comfortable on the ball, it's allowing the dangerous backs to go a little bit wider and attack in the spaces. Those forwards, and I know Pat Lamb's worked really hard on the skill set of the forwards, so they become ball handlers, and that allows the interpassing and the play out in the wider channels of the outside back, the dangerous outside backs. But Downey in particular has been really impressive in the last few minutes.
McCartney to Muldowney. McGinty. Here's Marmion. O'Halloran. Healy. Feints to go on the inside. Flag is up from Ian Davis, the assistant. Ben Whitehouse, the assistant, on the other side. Television match official is John Mason. And our pitchside reporter is Graham Simmons.
Miles, thank you very much indeed. Kurt, they've scored as many points in 13 minutes against you as they managed in 2 hours and 40 minutes of the regular season. How sobering a start is that from a defensive point of view for Leinster?
Very sobering. They've got us under the pump at the moment. We're probably overcommitting at the ruck and not getting our fold right. So it's no, they're going particularly well at the moment.
How much have you adapted your defensive pattern to suit Connacht? Because obviously they're a very peculiar and a very unique threat, Kurt. How have you adapted that, and why isn't it quite working right now?
Probably at spacings. They take a fairly wide stance in their setup, and our spacings aren't quite right, and that's what's catching us out at the moment.
And in terms of slowing them down, to what extent do you have to do that at the breakdown?
Oh, very much so, yeah. Like the quick ball, they're dangerous with Aki and the like, so we really have to get on the ball and slow it right down for ourselves.
All right, Kurt, thank you very much indeed.
And they're dangerous again as Henshaw finds O'Halloran, Bundyaki, Marmion out to Adeoloken. Oh, it's fizzing everywhere. And Adeoloken is trying to control here. Adeoloken! Connacht's history writers here. They are playing superbly in the final. They could not be giving their supporters any more.
Adeoloken has been threatening. He's been a major worry. 10 tackles missed by Leinster in the first 20, and this time the missed tackles come home. But lucky maybe Iron, but also he took advantage with a superb piece of control. And again, O'Halloran having a wonderful game. Such comfort there. They're not worried about beating the game. They just keep it alive. Lovely offload there. And this, I guess you call this just taking advantage of a little break. Brilliant. Oh,
that's good skill.
Yeah.
He caught that on the volley. That's perseverance. That's skill. The catch out on the volley. But passing before contact. That's what it is. Keep the balls going. Not allow defensive realignment. Keep them moving. Keep them guessing. Keep that ball moving across. And that gives time and space for Adeoloken just to put that ball behind. And that's a terrific volley then. For him to follow this on. Nudge aside. That's a lovely bit of skill.
wow.
There's no luck in that.
No, there's not.
But there's no extra points this time for McGinty. And having said that, there are simply no complaints from Connacht, misconversion or not, because it's another try, they're second to the final. And this man, Adeoloken, well, he is turning it on when it matters most.
Not afraid to go backwards at all, Connacht. They go backwards, Marmion sweeps it up, as long as they're getting wide. Kurt McQuilkin talked about the wide spacing of Connacht's attacking game, and they're just outflanking them. They're not worried about the gain line, they're worried about the width, and it's winning them this match at the moment.
Kurt McQuilkin is right, man. Leinster need to slow this game down.
Henshaw. Bundyaki. Another good offload, even when the tackle was coming in. He's got the strength and the presence. to do it every time. McGinty and well played Muldowney, Henshaw. And the sun shines on Murrayfield and they are lighting up this final, Connacht. They really are.
You can't play like this on your first final. It is unbelievable, the confidence.
McGinty. They promised to come and play. They are living up to that. Bundyaki again. Still looks for the offload. That time it might not work. As Dave Carney gets in. And Leinster needs something quickly.
There's an element of risk which is rewarded, but it's certainly have the reward for Connacht. It is risky at times, but they have to be bold. That's how they back themselves. But a lot of the game is based around their forwards being able to pass the ball and comfortable enough on the ball. It allows their attacking players to be a little bit wired. Muldowney has been involved 3 or 4 times in this game already, 25 minutes in, has been a key receiver and passer on his distribution skills, have been key to maintaining that movement.
We haven't had a penalty yet. Got another line out. We've got one working for Connacht here. McCartney powering off the back of it. Gone are the days when the other hooker used to stand at the front.
Release!
It's Beelum. Marmion. McGinty. Lovely service coming from fly half. Offload out to Adeoloken again. It's away from the first man. Just so exciting to watch. Muldowney again in midfield, but very comfortable with that. Bundyaki finds Heenan. The open side up to McKeown, the blind side. Here's Delang. Wow, what power.
Ruck is formed.
Marmion, McGinty, Muldowney again, Beelum, Bundyaki. This is dream rugby. And it's coming in a final from a side that's never been on this stage before. There's a penalty. First one of the bench.
Ball was in the hand of an
applause all round here.
It's a couple of amazing stats. 26 minutes, and that's the first penalty. Very positive game. But I've just been sort of checking things here. Leinster are now up to the 15 marks of missed tackles. Connacht just the one. That tells you the difference between these teams. Strauss starts over Cronin because of his line-out skills. He has to find his man, because you cannot afford turnovers like this, because this team will just go from anywhere. Where there's space, there's an opportunity to beat a man and just keep that tally of missed tackles going anyway, anyhow.
The speed of the game. There have been very few scrums, which means very few penalties given away there. Very few really long breakdowns. The ball's been moved away quickly. There's no time to give a penalty. And that allows the freedom, the speed of the game, just allows the threatening runners, O'Halloran, Adeolokun, Healy, to really attack.
Here's McGinty. It's 3 more points. It's 15-0 to Connacht in their first major final.
The White Boys are terrorising Leinster, and coming down the centre, Bundyaki with his offloads and his mate Robbie Henshaw causing mayhem. Henshaw, he loves that little step and go. He's so strong, he rolls out of the tackle. What's he going to do now? No space, but a delicate little offload. And to this man in space, wow. Leinster would be looking forward to playing with him at the moment a lot more than against him.
Sexton, another restart. And he walked away from that one a little bit disgusted with himself. He got too much of it, straight down Muldoon's throat. And Connacht are running from their own 22 again.
Backwards.
Healy, but flirts with the touchline. Thought he might have been in contact with the ball when he touched it, but Ian Davis right on top of it says no. And Sexton to Rob Carney. And Leinster with all this experience, all these caps. Jamie Heaslip with plenty of them. But at the moment, very little they can do, and Connacht just keep coming at them in these waves of attacks. Sexton. Tackled by that machine, McCartney. Rob Kearney, out it goes. Luke Fitzgerald. Johnny Sexton is okay. He's just got himself back to his feet in midfield. There's Geordie Murphy. Luke Fitzgerald is down now on that far side. Here's Gary Ringrose. One or two eyebrows raised when he did not make the Ireland squad to South Africa. We've alluded to Matt Healy as well. Turnover ball for Connacht. And they'll put into the scrum.
Leinster can't seem to get any sort of control in this game. Control is exactly what they need. A fast and furious open game just suits the strength of this Connacht side. Leinster need to hold on to the ball, go through some phases, just start slowing the tempo down and drag themselves into this game because they've been run off the park at the moment.
I mean, we looked earlier at the statistics and all the caps Leinster have got, but experience doesn't win you finals. What Leinster also have probably an advantage over Connacht is a bench that has massive impact in the last 20. But Leo Cullen will be watching on and aware that if this game keeps going in the direction it is at the moment, it'll be gone from any bench fight back in the last quarter of the game. Pat Lamb's team couldn't have made a better start. Apart from 2 turnovers and maybe getting knocked backwards in the odd tackle, their ability to put width on the game has just run the pattern out of Leinster's defensive game.
I was listening to Pat Lam at the news conference yesterday, and I had a brief chat with him afterwards, and he's just an inspiring man to listen to in those situations. He really is. But he said actually today there'd be nothing to say, and he'd be worried if there was. And you sense that these Connacht players have come into this final almost in the perfect frame of mind. And that says a lot about not just them, but the coaching staff too.
Well, there's the substance behind the belief and the philosophy is going to swing. And it might well be that Pat Lam didn't have to say an awful lot, but I know the crowd have got plenty to sing about. That Connacht crowd, we've heard Fees and Laugh and Right booming around this stadium. They're loving this afternoon, and they've been treated royally to a great performance. Must be said, so far, we're half an hour into the game, there's plenty of time left, and the score is 15 now. But what a breathtaking start by Connacht.
Don't forget, tomorrow, England meet Wales at Twickenham, and you can see that live only on Sky Sports. Sky Sports 3 tomorrow from 2:30. And it's a very important game for both sides as they prepare for their summer tours. England to Australia, Wales to New Zealand. And of course, it's the small matter of England against Wales.
Exactly, it's England-Wales, and let's not kid ourselves. It's not a World Cup game and it's not the Six Nations. But if Wales use this game at Twickenham to go down to New Zealand and beat the All Blacks, it'll be one of the great Welsh games, even if they were to lose. Of course, England and Wales want to win. The same with England. They both need to get to Australasia and catch the Aussies and the All Blacks cold first test. And it's a much better option, much better opportunity, Ian, than playing against the Barbarians, who simply no longer are an ideal test match preparation.
You only got to listen to the tone of the language used by the respective coaches. They understand the significance of the performance on Sunday, knowing what's ahead on the 3-test tour to Australia and New Zealand respectively.
The result might not be everything tomorrow. It is today. But boy, what a way Connacht are going about it. The quality of their performance.
And Kieran Martin about to put into this scrum. He scored against Leinster in March. And with AJ McGinty's conversion in that game, were the only points that Connacht scored against Leinster in the 2 meetings between the two in the Pro12 regular league season. Well, they've already surpassed that mark in the final, but they might have to be wary here as Teo goes through on McGinty, and Marmion goes back and takes on the kicking responsibility. There's Kearney and Sexton, and looking for Rob Kearney. It was off a Connacht hand. Ringrose, and no advantage. And there's 10 minutes before half-time for Leinster to get on the board.
A little naive from Gary Ringrose there. I don't know whether he thought he got the penalty, but McCartney didn't deliberately knock on, and it was a wildly speculative little chip there, and it just killed the attack.
I say, we talked about Johnny Sexton before the game and the authority that he used last week at the RDS against Ulster. He really was a commanding figure. I've been really impressed with AJ McGinty's performance so far in the game. Nice mix in his game. He's kicked, he's needed a kick, he's threatened the attacking line, he's got the ball out of his hands really quickly. And he's very effective, considering when he joined in his first game, I think in February. He really has, sorry, November. He's really moved on really well post-World Cup. And taken over this mantle of the outside half slot in Connacht.
I'll tell you what he does really well. He's not afraid to just go up to the gain line, as we see Sexton getting knocked again, already caught one on the arm. What McGinty is prepared to do is run the gain line, and that holds your 10 and your 7 and sometimes your 12. And that helps create the space for the likes of Aki and Henshaw wider. A fly half who stands deep and just shovels ball might look quite good, but it is of no benefit to his centres. A fly half who takes it to the line does create space outside, and the US fly half is doing just that.
Of course, the United States, his adopted country, went to a college there through the system and ended up playing for the USA internationally, but he's a Blackrock College boy. His father, principal there.
Yeah. Was he captain of the first 15, head boy? Do you know?
Well, there are a few candidates, to be fair.
And he's off to Sale next year.
Here's Reddit. There's nothing to his right. Had to go there. Sexton takes another hit there from Bundy Aki. Just until he got off the floor from the last collision. He looks groggy. That was McGrath. He took it into contact.
That was the tackle of the day.
Geordie Murphy does well to offload. Oh, and in goes Alton Delan. And Rhys Ruddock.
Play on, you put him there, you play on, you put him there.
Geordie Murphy. There's no Sean O'Brien. Injury sadly having returned to his season. And ending it, Josh van der Fleer getting injured against Ulster towards the end of the league. And Connacht get the penalty, and even though Leinster have gone into this side with a very strong back row of Ruddock, Murphy and Heaslip, McKeown, Heenan and Muldoon are punching their weight and a little bit more as well.
I think I'd be changing tactics if I was Leinster. I'd be going a little bit closer to the fringe. What you don't want to do is go one direction and then change your mind and a wide pass there, telegraph pass, and Bundy Aki line Sexton up from a good 5-10 yards away.
And the technique is superb. There's not one straight arm and then a swing. The technique is absolutely perfect there. That could have been 30, 40 years ago. The only thing that's different is the power that he brings to this game now. Carrying like a tank. And when he does make a tackle, you know about it.
I'd be just, if I was Leinster, I'd be just put some pop-offs either side of the breakdown just to pull in the shorten the defensive line a little bit. At the moment, there's nothing really threatening that Connacht defensive line. Pick up and goes, pull defenders in to create those space, because there's not much space out there against a very disciplined Connacht defence.
Is it fair to say Leinster were superb against Ulster? And people are saying, well, that's Leinster coming back to their best. But they haven't played that rugby at all this season. What they have played is a highly structured rugby, and we've criticised them often, saying, yeah, it's structured, but what happens when you meet an inspired team? And at the moment, they've got no answers.
Here's Marmion. Is it another score for Connacht before half-time? Well, not from this attack, because Bundy Aki, for once, makes an error. And he can smile about it. Man of the match again in the semi-final. He becomes eligible for Ireland in 2017.
Keep that calendar moving, I think Joe Smith will be thinking. Getting ball at the back, which normally means they get Bundy Aki and Henshaw over the gain line. A rare handling error. Maybe the pass a little bit in front as well behind from McGinty.
Probably a little bit more sympathy needed in the pass, because Aki was coming like a train.
Bind! Set!
Leinster trying to work a penalty maybe, but Nigel Owens says it's a reset, nothing more.
Nothing has happened for Leinster
Nobody
so far.
going nowhere, both across and
The false dawn of a couple of high, hanging, threatening kicks, and then the cold reality of Connacht running back on the counter-attack, and where Leinster looked physically stronger in the first 5 minutes, that's been turned completely around as well.
From Leinster's perspective, it's small little victories. They've stopped the rot. And it was important they did stop the rot, because Connacht are running away with the game. They have to sort of now start giving some element of control. Like this scrum was one area that has gone pretty well from them. Try and use that.
It's a big lead this though in finals, but of course it is a first final for Connacht, and they are in uncharted waters here. And now Heaslip gets what he wanted last time, gets his penalty. Almost determined to make the point there, the captain of number 8.
And, you know, Connacht come out. They clearly haven't felt the pressure. They've imposed pressure on themselves to win the game, but they've come out and they've just flourished and really enjoyed it. If it's 15-3, 15-6, 15-9 with 20 minutes to go, that's when, you know, caps and the fact that Leinster have been serial trophy winners for a decade, when Connacht have just been watching it on television screens, that's when it can make a difference. So Connacht need to keep the intensity up and keep that scoreboard, keep Whitewater there, Ian. I think they don't want to see Leinster chipping away and coming back into this.
That's what sometimes you become a little bit afraid to win.
Strauss goes to Heaslip towards the front of the lineup. Here's Sexton, Bentio. Leinster want to get him more and more into the game if they can. Mistake from Redding. It's a knock on.
Errors very evident in the Leinster game, and when they start to get a bit of momentum, they start to go forward, they lose the ball.
And that error count's quite interesting, because Leinster haven't been trying so much, yet they've made 6 handling errors. Connacht, with their width and their ambition and their offloading, have made only 4. Yes. So that does tell a tale of real supremacy in this first half at Murrayfield.
And that scrum penalty conceded recently by Connacht, when Heaslip made the point, although it's not led to any points, was the first penalty conceded by Connacht in this 36 minutes of cup final rugby.
You are going to expect errors from Connacht, because the nature of the game they play, they're going to make more turnovers. All they want is 2 or 3 chances like this. When they get Aki on the front foot, they're able to attack that wider area, and then they exploit. They done it very effectively. Leinster have slowed it down a little bit now. You're having more set pieces, which means there's less opportunity. But you get O'Halloran in that outside channel. You get Healy in full flow. Leinster can't hold on to them.
My thighs are still wobbling from that hit. You were talking then, I saw that. It must be the 4th or 5th time we've seen it, and my stomach, my pit just went pit in the stomach. Oh no, what a tackle.
He's called a force of nature over the last few games, and that's certainly been evident today.
Your stomach's a force of nature, to be fair.
Nearly emptied when I saw that tackle.
Oh dear. No. That's just not a pleasant thought at all.
Let's concentrate on Connacht's attacking, boys.
There it comes again. O'Halloran. No, that's not good. Holds up his hand to say sorry.
Well, again, the error, yep, but there's no fear in what they're trying to do, and that's very important. I mean, it would be very easy with 4 minutes to go 15-0 up in a final, and to just say, let's stop playing in our own half, let's start kicking. But that is alien to the way they play, and they're determined to keep true to what's got them here.
Hallelujah,
said the winger.
Desperate to try and find something before the interval. Here's Redden. Dave Carney. Lovely jump out of the way last week to enable Eastern Lefebvre to get that first score. Intelligent piece of play under pressure. And that's what Leinster need to find more of here.
Lost!
Or at least some of. In comes Bundy-Arkiege. Up comes Henshaw as well. What great work that was by the 2 centres. Ruddock. Sheer weight of tackling has to have an effect, both physically and mentally. Sexton to Teo, and that has been knocked forward. Matt Healy will be called back.
There's different ways to defend. Aki and Henshaw, they're just patting each other's hands there because both of them are doing brilliantly. But Healy there sensed the danger straight off his wing. No deliberate knock-on. Cleared up the problem. Brilliant play again from Robbie Henshaw. The two of them are so comfortable in what they're doing.
I would question whether that was the ball to attack wider. It was slow ball. Defences read that all the way. It was rush on the outside. But very easy to read. That could well have ended up being a try at the end of this first half for Connacht.
But we've got to go back to what we've said. We've seen an awful lot of Leinster this season, and most of the time Leinster have had to revert to the power of their pack and Sexton's boot to close out and win games. Their backs, despite the fact they've got a lot of big names, have not functioned well. In contrast, Connacht are flowing as if it's just a Sunday pub game. They're so relaxed.
Against a team with 6 previous finals to their name in this competition. Another penalty at the scrum. It is at one area of hope for Leinster. In comes Maloney, and then it's Mike Ross.
Lost.
It was a little bit lumbering. And there's Sexton round on the loop. This isn't. Teo to Fitzgerald, but it goes through his fingertips. And Connacht will be the team to have one last chance before half-time.
The Indian tourist at the moment, Jan, is very much, in terms of the big centres, playing bronze medal role, isn't he, between Bundy Aki and Robbie Henshaw. Predictable move, and you said lack of sympathy with the pass a couple of seconds earlier, and there's not a lot there, and I think it's forward anyway.
But small comfort for Leinster, as inaccurate as that was, at least that was better ball in which to attack from.
And as we go towards half-time, as you said, Miles, not much has happened for Leinster, but the scrums are started to. That's a small crumb.
Lost by Muldowney, comes to Strauss. Was a knock-on, but Leinster want a whole lot more, and Ringrose looks to show his skill. Henshaw, his teammate next season, pulls him down. These are very important seconds. Could be a bit of a psychological turn as well as turn on the scoreboard if Leinster can get something now. The final play of this first half, Sexton. Out it goes to Fitzgerald. No, they can't. It's dropped again. Too many errors. Pressure being applied by Connacht in so many different ways. And the side that was almost disbanded by the Irish Rugby Football Union not so long ago, whose games used to be a curtain raiser to the Dogs on their ground not so long ago, in their first final, lead against Leinster in their 7th by 15 points to 0.
We are at halftime between Connacht and Leinster for the Guinness Pro12 final at BT Murrayfield. Hope you're enjoying the game so far. 15-0 for Connacht, the Cinderella side. It's getting off to a good start for them.
It's nice. I'm loving seeing Connacht do this to Leinster, and I hope it continues into the second half.
Yes.
They're playing very, very well. I'm very impressed so far. I'd love to be able to explain a little bit of why they're doing so well.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at Leinster and what's going wrong with them so far in the first half.
The go forward is very slow. They're catching the ball. If we can freeze it right here, you've got Johnny Sexton here. He needs to be a little bit further back. He's way too flat. If you can see that flat line that he's on right now, what he needs to be is a ways back here so that he can be getting some go forward, and we want him coming late and delayed into this direction. Okay, and right now he's too flat, so he's catching the ball behind him. If you let that roll a little quicker, and he's catching the ball behind him and
getting into trouble,
loses the ball. Okay, now if we go subsequently, Connacht, on the other hand, they've got their go forward, they're confident, they're playing well. Confidence means you can come from deep, and when this ball gets recycled, you've got Bundy Aki taking the ball. If we freeze it, you've got the number 15, the fullback. He's coming from deep. In contrast to earlier, you've got this guy coming right back here, and then he's got that go forward, and he can move on and go ahead and score some tries. Play on. That coming from deep means you've got that confidence to go forward. You're catching the ball in front of you instead of behind you. Catching the ball behind you, you've got to stop to catch it.
Yep.
If it's in front of you, you keep moving forward. You've got the momentum, and you go score tries. Simple
Gavin,
stuff.
you're talking about the confidence that they have. And, of course, scoring the first try is always going to give you that confidence to go forward. And that's exactly what we're going to see here.
Yeah, they've got this. It's just sublime to watch. They've got this nice sevens style of play. They're playing with patience. They've got the ball in hand. They'll stop, they'll start, and then they can do things like, instead of the traditional underhand pass, they stop, they take a look, and they pop it into the other side there. This player right here, there's the ball, if you can see it, and then he's going to end up with it up here. He changes it from that underhand to basketball style. Move it on.
There you go.
And that gives him the time, pass the ball out the back, and you got this young lad who turns the speed on, and a little bit of footy skills too. Goes and scores himself a lovely try. That was Connacht's second try to take him up to 15-0. So that confidence again with taking the time, nice and patient, playing a sevens style of rugby. Pat Lamb's been teaching them well the last couple of years, and they're doing really, really well. I'd like to see them continue that in the second half. Leinster are going to have to do some seriously big things to change it around, maybe slow that game down a little bit like they did in the last 10 minutes of the first half.
We'll see if they can do it. We've got a second half still to come. Guinness Pro12 final continues momentarily.
So Connacht get it underway for this second half, and Sean O'Brien has joined the fray. He's wearing 20. Owen Reddin. O'Halloran. McGinty. There's Muldowney again finding himself in midfield and looking totally and utterly comfortable in that role. Here is O'Brien, who's come into the back row. Muldowney again, but that line speed from Leinster just unsettling Connacht there, and Henshaw has to recover the situation. Marmion. There's plenty of no-look passing today. Marmion to O'Halloran, and then O'Brien, former captain of Ireland under-20s, under-19s as well.
Different sort of player to McCoy, isn't he, who he's replaced? Strong carrier.
Oh, talking about strong carriers, Bundy Arkey nearly finding a way through there and knows how close that was, but it's a knock-on, and Leinster, like they did in the first half, starting with field position.
Yeah, Muldowney once again looking to be the distributor. An early pass from Major McGinty, and I was only trying to put Arkey in the hole. Well, Cronin will bring some dynamism into the hooker role. He is a big ball carrier, and he needs something to allow him to get on the front foot. Some edge in their play.
Green, and no loss of power at the scrum. They're starting to win some penalties in that area just before the interval. Furlong's delighted with his introduction on the tight head.
Number 1, to your knees, and then down.
It's Ronan Loughney who's been penalised.
Now Dennis Buckley, of course, and there was a warning before half-time in the last 5 minutes of that first half. Leinster eked out 2 scrum penalties, and they'll be more than happy to try and get some territory and just get 1, 2, 3 penalties from the scrum, and suddenly, for all the pyrotechnic brilliance of Connacht, it's 15-9 with 20 minutes to go, or 25 minutes, and then you've got the pressure, and that's what Leinster have got to try and do. Not play super rugby, but just stay in the game, and in the last 15 put the psychological pressure on Connacht.
Can't compete with Connacht at Connacht's game. Connacht are better than them in it. They're more used to it. It's their natural game. Leinster have to draw that out of Connacht, have to play their game. Use the set piece, slow down the game.
And Sexton has to get the points when on offer. He was 6 from 6 in the semi. And he gets Leinster on the board in the final. They simply had to get that first score in the second half, and they do.
Well, 43 minutes into the game, 3 minutes of the second half, and Leinster get their first points. That tells you everything about the nature of this game so far.
Good strike from Sexton, of course, played in that European final here 7 years ago. Dave Kahn. Oh, where's that going? Almost to Bundy Aki, but it's Leinster doing a Connacht, throwing it around on their 22. Rob Carney.
Oh, hit by Aki again.
And that's good work from Connacht. And here's McGinty. Marmion. Dulan. Limped out of the semi-final, but he's been okay. Playing properly this week.
Okay, he's been a bit more than that today.
Fitness. Yeah. McGinty. Muldowney.
Connacht's second rows have been outstanding today.
Heenan. Marmion. Muldowney again. Bundy Aki. McGinty. Adiolokan. Suddenly that injection of pace, frightening. And it was Henshaw. Now it's Marmion. And Connacht starting to settle into their game again. McCartney. McGinty. Little show and a half go. Didn't get away. Marmion again. Lockney.
Release Sam, you're off your feet.
Dorwell truly slammed there from Leinster, but it's still the retention from Connacht. Muldown to Lockney. Marmion in danger of getting rucked off the ball there, but he decides to take it on himself. Beelum, Bundy Aki, McGinty going wide. O'Brien. Muldowney, Bundy Aki, Muldoon trying to straighten it. Adiolokan been driven back now towards the 10-metre line. It's been good defence from Leinster, really has.
Good ball retention then also by Adiolokan. He was outnumbered there, did well hold on to the ball.
This team aren't scared to play going backwards. They've got to tell you that they're so comfortable with the ball in hand, both passing or offloading, that they go backwards and they're quite happy.
Marmin's not too impressed there that his winger and others didn't chase. It's a bit of a shot to nothing anyway. Muldowney has been immense today with this offloading game.
I'm just hoping he's off to Grenoble. I hope they've got tapes of the way he plays this game, because a second row going to France could find about 90% of this brilliant game absolutely wasted.
But there's a chance to cancel that one out now for AJ McGinty.
Nigel Owen has said that the clock is on. He's having a little bit of a problem getting the ball set up. Pretty important kick this. It would just quiet any tension. I don't think there is any in the Connacht team at the moment. It'd also say to Leinster, back in your box, boys.
You sense a very important kick in the context of the match, this, and it is going to struggle. Just too far out for the American international. Muldoon gets another bite.
Bloke with a tee got off that field pretty quickly.
Showed a good sidestep. Good work by Leinster at the breakdown. Brought on Sean Cronin perhaps earlier than planned during the week, but he, like Furlong, will give a lot, not just in the set piece, but around the park. And goes Furlong there as the protector. Redden to Sexton. Teo floats it over. Rob Kearney to brother Dave. And there's the ball. It's fallen back into the clutches of Dave Kearney. Redden. The all-action Cronin try score in the semi-final. Yet again another score for Leinster.
It's just a total mess and nobody's at fault. Scrum down, white forward last, white ball.
Well, Leinster are looking for players, someone to seize the initiative, someone to give them a degree of impetus into the second half. Cronin starting carrying, but there's been nothing from Ben Teo. No real big carries, and so much of Leinster's attacking game is revolved around him crossing the gain line. He hasn't been able to do it. Overshadowed by Bundiaki on the opposite side. You need some big carries.
I'm just thinking when he threw that loose pass to no one in particular, yeah, he's had a quiet day. And he's carried their attacking game so much. You can see Aki and Teo carrying, you know, key carriers for both their teams. But the big difference, the one area where Teo is really strong has been the offloads all season. He's a brilliant offloader, and he just hasn't got that game going. Partly because there hasn't been quick ball, but when he has had ball, he's the one who's looked a little bit nervous, despite 7 State of Origin matches.
Scrum on the move again. Redden tries to leave it for long enough for the referee to make a decision, but Leinster also thinking about creating an attack, not just the penalty. Here's Heaslip. Good work making inroads, Geordie Murphy. Ruddock back to Redden. Here's Sexton. Dave Kearney off that wing. Leinster trying to step up here, realising the importance of this third quarter. Got the only points of the second half thus far. That's Ross Maloney.
Passing back deep to forward, standing back there, is not going to unlock a Connacht defence.
What about Teo in the backs now? Ringrose one of them. Redden. Sexton flat to McGrath.
Much better with McGrath coming on at pace, not static.
Redden again. Sexton. Rob Kearney shot down. Heenan went low. Heaslip. Oh, look at that driving movement from O'Brien, the replacement. Got stuck in there with the shoulder. Hayden Triggs can't control it. And it falls for Connacht and Marmion. And he's got Adeoloken trying to get with him. Scrum half looking around for support on the other side. Muldoon was trying to get there.
Should he have kicked that ball and let the pace of the wing go? It should perhaps have been the case. They've got a penalty.
It's a penalty at least. Muldoon. There's Delan and Muldowney, the two locks. They're involved again. O'Halloran. And Healy was calling for it. No! Never got it. Couple of moments there. Should Marmion have kicked? Should it have gone to Healy? Probably both. But Connacht keep coming. Here's Marmion once more. Beelan to Heenan. Beelan might have been hurt in that challenge. He's down. Marmion finds McGinty. Is Healy to O'Brien. O'Halloran. That's Henshaw.
Don't push it for the penalty. Let the ball come back.
Here's McGinty. Downey once more. McCartney. Oh, he's motoring here. McCartney the hooker. McCartney for Connacht. Just short. Nigel Owens gives the 5-metre scrum. Tom McCartney was that close to glory. He was that close to writing his name right at the top of the list in Connacht history.
As the man who passes like an all-black second row with the most sublime ball, and then a man A New Zealander who's running like Dane Coles, and you think he's away, Ian. What a 3 men there at the end. Redding slows him down.
I think Sexton made a tackle, but their angles of running, really, and their willingness and their desire to keep the ball alive. The one area that Connacht have struggled in, if that's the right word, the scrum. Now can they produce their biggest scrum effort of the match in the most important scrum of the match?
A fed scrum and a clean hook by McCartney is what they need. Muldoon just get it into the feet and away.
Marmion has it quickly. It goes to McGinty. It's Bundyaki. Tackling good again from Leinster. Marmion feeds. He's quickly there, the scrum half. He really has a terrific future internationally, surely, at some point. But today it is all about the Connacht story and what these men can do in this, their first final. O'Brien. Marmion lining up the forwards, the big carriers, to take it on a little bit more. There's a building tension in this ground.
Keep your feet!
The realisation of the importance of what's happening now, what's being played out in these minutes of this match. Marmion to McGinty. Oh, Healy slipping. And Leinster, they've got bodies there, and they've got the ball back. And they've kept themselves in the final.
White shirts drove beyond the ball. Brilliant, almost rocking there from Leinster.
Now Leinster trying to spin it along their own line. And Dave Carney showing good pace there to get up to the relative safety of the 22. But look at young O'Brien and what he's done there. Marmion, half held. Loughney takes the tackle from Furlong. Beal and McCartney, somehow they've kept it in hand. That was McGinty who was last to get it.
Lost now, lost now. Yes, but then you lost it.
Marmion. Here's Muldowney. How many times we mentioned Marmion's name in this attack?
Brandon Rogan's intoxicated, isn't it?
There he is again, to McGinty, to Bundyaki.
Move!
And Jamie Heaslip, once again the immovable object, and he will claim he just cannot roll away. He's trying to show that to the referee.
Great work from Heaslip, that's brilliant.
Leading.
Marmion to Muldowney. Is it one of those cases where any points will do?
No, I think they're so settled in their way. I think they believe they can score.
Marmion has a go.
Don't play him!
Marmion's always a threat to that guard. Always going to tap that man on the outside of the ruck. Henshaw. McGinty chips it through. Healy! Hands on the cup! That's what they have now. Some years ago, they would never have believed this. At the start of the season, those on the outside didn't believe it. But those on the inside did. And the way they've played in this final has proved that point to perfection. Connacht are almost there.
Well, they keep the ball in hand, but when they kick, it is to deadly effect. Bundyaki last week against Glasgow, and AJ McGinty, the Eagles fly half with an inch-perfect kick. He makes sure he's almost magicked that ball to sit up for the marvellous Matt Healy. As we said, I didn't think they ever thought about a drop goal. If they keep the ball long enough, they can score. Healy has got tight on the angle. The kick is weighted to perfection, and that is a real buffer now. They've not won anything yet, but Ian, one hand on the trophy.
Oh, it's certainly tantalisingly close for them. Like I said, one of the themes today of the attacking play, they've attacked the short side time and time again to great effect.
And the conversion hits the upright, but it is still one heck of a lead. And all of the back three have scored now in this final. And it wasn't the drop goal, as you say, Stuart, from McGinty. He dropped it on the boot for much, much more. The try for Healy.
Stu, ask you a question. Ball in two hands and outside half, looking up to see where the opportunities are.
Ball in two hands means the defenders don't know whether you're running, they don't know whether you're passing, and in that instance they didn't know whether he's going to kick, and he let Leinster come. He was comfortable to wait for the Leinster defence to push up. He saw the hole, and then him and Healy did the rest.
And on the restart, Fitzgerald slips and Adeolokan takes with comfort. McGinty again. Rob Kearney. Now, from Leinster's point of view, it's just a matter now of trying to take Connacht into that place where the panic might start and the fear set in as they realise they were so close. But there's an awful lot to do for Leinster to get anywhere near that point. But they're giving it a go here. Cronin.
Well, Sean O'Brien has come on the flank, and he is everywhere. He's having a magnificent second half.
Well, he can play back row or lock, and he has that extra beef, doesn't he, in the contact situation. Luke McGrath now on at scrum half for Leinster. His 50th appearance for the province, but at the moment it's not one to celebrate. Far from it. Sean Cronin.
How many Connacht defenders are staying back deep? They're taking the kicking game away from Leinster. They're not committing too many people into the defensive line. They're comfortable in defensive system. And plenty of players out there deep waiting for that kick through.
Tackle by Delan on Tyg Furlong. He slipped. And referee was playing advantage.
Wrong side.
And Sexton, no thought of the post at this stage now. Scott.
Yeah, we see Triggs, we see Furlong, they're going to carry the ball in, no problem at all. Sorry, Cronin in behind him. Look at that, you do not show the opposition the ball, especially when it's captain. Fantastic turnover, a couple of minutes later, 5 points.
Just before that turnover, it was a double tackle, and he's able to drove it back. The fervour and the energy in defence, we've applauded their attacking play and the willingness to attack from everywhere, but their defence has really been, they've been there as one.
Zane Kirshner's come on for Leinster, and John Cooney coming on at scrum half for Kieran Marmion. Andrew Brown coming on as well to join the forwards. John Cooney won a Pro12 title with Leinster, of course, who's replacing the Heineken Cup final against Ulster, but now part of this Connacht squad. And there he is, going towards their first ever major silverware, but 20 minutes away, still 20 minutes.
What a time to steal a line out, though. And Cooney finds a very useful first kick. Graham Simmons.
Stuart Barnes, thank you very much. And Tim Allnutt, the Connacht team manager. Nothing won yet, Tim, obviously, but you're walking up the 17th with a 3-shot lead here, aren't you?
It's still a long way to go, 20 minutes left on the clock, so just got to keep the ball. I think we've sort of let Leinster back in when we've kicked the ball aimlessly in the second half, so we've just got to hold on to it.
Inexperience was the one thing that was sort of thrown at you this week, as the one thing that Connacht might struggle with. Have you talked during the week about what you would do in a situation like this if you got to it, and what would you do?
I think...
Hold on 1 second, Tim. Let me just go out to commentary, just 1 second. Miles?
Thanks, Graham, because Leinster have found themselves in a good position here, and they're spreading it wide, and there's a chance maybe until that whistle went. It's been deemed to have gone forward. Kirshner realises that now, and Leinster felt that was the first step back, but it's not, according to Nigel Owens. Back to you, Graham.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Tim. Sorry about that. Never been more relieved to hear Nigel Owens' whistle, I'm sure. We were talking about whether you talked to the team this week about what you do in this situation, how you stop perhaps getting a nosebleed later in the game.
I think we've just got to trust our process and our game plan, and that's what we've been doing, and we've done it all season, so we've just got to keep doing that.
Do you believe what's actually happening here, Tim, honestly, right now?
I will do in about 15-20 minutes, but yeah, we've just got to keep our foot on the throat and finish it out.
All right, Tim. Good luck to you. Thanks very much indeed.
And big debate up here in the commentary box about that pass, forward or not.
I don't think it is a big debate, actually. If the ball goes backwards initially and then fades forward, then that's okay. Now, when this ball leaves Sexton's hand, that has gone backwards. It's a floaty old sort of pass, and it's drifted forward afterwards, but the initial movement is backwards, and I think Nigel Owens has got that wrong, Ian.
I thought that ball came out backwards out of the hands.
Yep. And then it goes forward afterwards.
It even crossed the 22, going back the other way, so...
What's this? Backwards, and then because it's come out of his hands awkwardly, the wind has just got hold of it and it's wobbled it forwards. But I say again, if the ball initially goes backwards, it doesn't matter if it floats forward then, the initial pass is what counts.
But he can't go back and give it a try because he's blown the whistle.
Yeah,
our defender stopped. So
yeah, you can't say it would have been a try, definitely, because clearly Connacht had stopped as well.
Let's go then, please. Time will come on when I call the crouch. Get the pressure off. Crouch!
Yeah, the whistle went before the ball was put down, but...
Tim O'Halloran might have been a little bit more urgent with his tackle.
But Nigel Owens has too much experience for that kind of moment to affect him. There was replay after replay that you'll have been seeing at home, that we saw on the big screen as well, and he was very much aware of that. But there were one or two Leinster players making him very aware of the replay on the big screen. But immediately, if he felt there was a penalty offence at the scrum to go Connacht's way, he put up that arm and said penalty. Conan on for Maloney. There he is, Jack Conan, injured his ankle in February, made his return last week in the semi-final.
A far lesser line-out forward, but more a back row man, and he's a carrier, and that is what Leinster need now. They need impact over that game line.
Cooney finds Bundy Arkeen.
he's brought plenty of impact today.
Finlay Beelum, by the way, has played in all 31 Connacht matches this season. All competitions, the only player to do that. That in itself deserves credit, but of course it's been such a successful season. Sexton, Kirshner and Ruddock and McGrath. 5 tries to his name in the Pro12 in this campaign, so he could be a threat given a chance. Just those chances for Leinster today have been few and far between.
I think John Cooney's hurt himself.
Keep an eye on that as Tier goes forward. Henshaw tried to rip it clear, and I think he did, but it's still with Leinster. Sexton, Fitzgerald are throwing everything at it now. Leinster realising it's now or never. McGrath, Conan, it's offside against Muldowney. Ball from Ben Whitehouse on this near side. Referee would have heard that. He's just letting play develop.
He's been impressive. I do look under him. We know he's a great finisher and bags of space, but he's developed a robustness to his game, both in defence and attack now as well.
Nigel Owens obviously happy to let play go on there. Stuart.
Another very good kick there from Cooney. We did hear the call, green number 5 offside. Nigel Owens decided not the way. Ruddock does very well with the offload there, but again, when you see Ruddock take that tackle, he's going backwards every time. The hits are so strong.
You're absolutely right about Cooney. He has hurt himself, only just come on, and Peter Robb will come on as a back replacement.
There's a problem.
Who goes to scrum half?
Matt Healy is looking at it with some scepticism.
He used to play at 9. That would be the natural choice. Oh, that looks a nasty collision. Nigel Owens is alongside O'Halloran, who is still down. Just making sure if he had to stop the play or not. The medics are on now as Cronin goes forward. Just another moment that shows the total commitment from both sides in this final.
It's unbridled commitment, but they've got to be very careful as well. And reckless themselves out there. Yeah.
It looked reckless, that challenge, didn't it? Nigel Owens plays on, but I think he asked him, are you all right? He bent down, didn't he, before he moved on. The crowd are booing, but I think he checked he was okay.
Yeah, he did. Here's Kirshner. McGrath. Cronin. They just can't get near enough, can they?
Man extra at the moment, they have to make this tell.
Teo, he's got men outside, Ringrose one of them, here's Fitzgerald, on it goes to Heaslip. Remember last week how he barreled over in the corner when he was too far out there to do that. And that's Leicester's problem, they are inching closer on this attack though. Triggs, McGrath, still with the extra man, no fullback here for Connacht, and here goes Cronin. He's got himself close enough. They've got a try back. Sean Cronin does it again. The man who used to play with Connacht tries score in the semi-final against Ulster. He's scored in the final now, and he's given Leinster something to cling on to.
Well, we said the Leinster bench was at one area of clear superiority, and since Conan has been on the field, he's looked superb. There you can see O'Halloran takes a real hit. We'll not know if he did say anything. He bent to look, but that was a long period with the man down, and he's still down. And in the end, O'Halloran's absence was crucial because they got outflanked once on the right eye, and then they went back the other way, and they just ran out of numbers.
Good awareness to understand where the advantage into was and why they were on one side, stretch defence, and then looked the other side and knew they had a numerical superiority. They've got to be careful. We've applauded how committed Connacht have been defence, but collectively and structurally they've always been solid. Therefore they don't throw themselves with total abandon and then allow space either side of them.
Here's Sexton then. He's got to gather every point. And there's 2 more. And suddenly Leinster are within sight, and their supporters shout their encouragement. 12 minutes to go of the final. O'Halloran looks like he might be leaving us, and things are starting to go wrong here for Connacht in terms of personnel. They bring on Cooney, reserve scrum half, and he's replaced almost immediately.
Yeah, exactly, and now O'Halloran is off after that collision with Zane Kirshner. 10 points is more than Leinster would like as a deficit, but they're just about within breathing distance, spitting distance now. And as you say, Miles, the injuries are beginning to hurt Connacht at this stage. They've got to keep the ball and they've got to keep their nerve. 12 long minutes.
Rodney Ayew comes on as well, replacement in the front row.
Boys, 5 minutes, time on.
This final now starting to stretch resources. There's number 22, Shane O'Leary, outside, who's on for O'Halloran, who gets a closer check in the changing rooms. McGrath. Oh, what a take from Dave Carney. And look at the Leinster body language now. Everything about their play is much more purposeful, they believe, and Cronin has been fired out of the cannon.
If anyone's turned in the game for Leinster, it's Cronin.
He does bring that dynamism that was sadly missing in Leinster's first half performance. 8 carries since he's come on.
Sexton. Here's Fitzgerald. That's nice. Changing the point of attack. He slips one out the side. And there's Carney, tackled by Sean O'Brien. 20 points to 3. Connacht would have felt they were almost there. But they wouldn't have been counting any chickens, not with their history, without any cups before. They would have expected some sort of backlash from Leinster, but just the nature of that, coupled with the changes in personnel, disrupting Connacht's rhythm, which means we have a real, genuine contest on our hands now.
Connacht now have got to keep their nerve. They've got to think their way through this, and their heart and soul's got to be huge.
They've got to keep your head.
Lost!
You know, they're disciplined, didn't concede very few penalties in the first half. They kept their structure.
Heaslip finding himself down those wide channels now.
I'm just thinking as well, Connacht are getting narrowed in field a little bit as well, aren't they?
Way down deep for the middle only.
It's sort of what happens when key men are off and there have been changes in personnel.
Let it go now.
And tiredness as well, just stops the concentration. What a turnover.
The captain makes his turnover.
Acting scrum half, Healy kicks. Finds Fitzgerald. Here's Ringrose. And Ruddock. It's getting very animated down on the touchline with support staff getting involved. It's that moment of the season when it's all decided.
Well, a great turnover, but a poor kick by your third string scrum half. He's been forced to put good in that position. It's not what their side needed. A loose kick on the back of a great turnover.
So what happens when key positions go up and you get rookies come on. As you say, Muldoon, who's had a tremendous game, does brilliantly there. Healy should either look to say, is anything on? I'm so quick I can go, or he hits that one low flat and bangs it downfield. Territory is a friend now to Connacht. They mustn't be afraid. If they are going to kick, they kick long. What they don't do is get caught in this halfway house of neither one nor the other.
Dave Heffernan is on for Connacht. Pete Dooley for Leinster. Both front row changes, of course. There is Dooley. Just not close enough to that 80th minute yet, Connacht, to feel any sense of relaxation. Far from it.
It's a long way, yeah. It's a long way.
Not forward in the tackle helps the Connacht cause.
Well, the Connacht players inspired the Connacht support around their stadium earlier on in the game. Now the supporters are trying to inspire their team. They're singing out loud, trying to force their team to dig deep in defence. That's exactly what they did there.
Well, they've had to tackle, haven't they, Connacht? It's slightly deceptive. It looks as if most of the attacking work has been from Leinster, but what that shows is that Leinster have played a narrower game and they popped round the fringes, whereas Connacht have played with more width, and that's why Leinster have missed so many more tackles. Leinster have carried more, but they're easier tackles. Connacht not so often the iron, but more threatening.
But I think coming in, hitting those closer areas probably brought more dividends for Leinster in their second half. They've slowed the game down. They've been able to retain possession for longer periods, which has created the openings a little bit wider further through the phases. But they've used their big, powerful forwards to carry a lot more effectively in the second half.
Mentioned earlier that Pat Lam said that there wouldn't be much to say today. John Muldoon echoed those sentiments as well, but now there is something that needs to be said by the skipper, and he is telling his men to go as deep as they have ever gone before.
Massive scrum now for Connacht. Lamb, he did his talking yesterday, just a quiet pat here and there, but it's the tribal leader who takes over when we get to the battle, and that's what John Muldoon is doing now from the front. From the front, he's had a tremendous second half, and alongside him, I'll say it again, Sean O'Brien has been dynamite.
275 appearances. John Muldoon for Connacht.
Keep the pressure off.
He's a Connacht hero, well, that is no doubt, and he's given everything he's got.
Here's Muldoon.
He's got the gain line.
Healy. And Hanrahan's back on. So O'Leary can only watch again. And maybe that's the hardest thing to do, just watch now for those players that have been involved. O'Brien trying to play a bit of keep ball, but of course it's the wrong area of the pitch. That's what Stuart was talking about, just get it downfield somehow. And that is a pretty good effort from AJ McGinty to do exactly that.
Good work from Tom McCartney as well. Hooker gets off the bench, he catches that ball, which means Leinster can't go quickly. Really good play though. It's very tough now for Connacht. You've seen a couple of loose passes from Healy. This one's a better one, and McGinty shows the experience of being a World Cup fly-half. That is a tremendous kick, and it's lifted this crowd yet again.
There's a little bit of the breeze at his back, but that's a terrific execution. That's how you exit from it deep in your own 22.
Curran throws, finds Heaslip. It's a good line out. McGrath, Conan.
Leinster bench made a difference. Conan really carrying aggressively.
There's Kirshner trying to do the same, carry aggressively.
No.
Ball is there for Leinster. Muldoon trying his best to slow it down, because every second counts here. Pete Dooley to McGrath, Teo. Oh, good work from Furlong, but then he was hurried into the pass by the defence from Connacht, and it wasn't the best. Rodney Ayew on his way to Ulster, but like the departing Connacht players, so much to do in the next few minutes before they disappear.
This is where they're so comfortable, Miles, just keeping the ball alive.
Heenan. Healy. McGinty. Muldowney. Nothing Leinster can do if they don't get the ball back. That's Connacht's plan at the moment. Adiokin. And they get the penalty.
They're killing Leinster there with their ball retention, because they're just killing the clock. And now with 5 minutes to go, cup rugby is not just about what you do, but it's when you do it and it's where you're doing it. They do it in an unusual place, deep, but what they're doing is really professional. It's a testimony to the belief that Pat Lam has given them.
Adiokin's got some breathtaking tries, and you've seen the attacking talent of Hanrahan and Healy. But the pack have put a huge shift in. How often has Ali Muldoon got his hands on the ball? Connacht's pack have been truly inspirational on our field. That work ethic, that workload they're putting in. John Muldoon digging really deep, feeding off the energy that the crowd are giving them. We're in full voice now as they see that clock tick ever closer to 80 minutes.
You feel wrong sometimes picking out an individual in a team performance like this, and there have been so many outstanding performances. But John Muldoon, the captain, has been immense. As a leader, as a number 8, as a battler, he has led from the front, the middle, and he's led from the back. Pat Lam, a wonderful number 8 himself, will be so proud of what his captain has done today. Our man of the match in the Guinness Pro12 final is John Muldoon.
All those years of hurt would disappear. All those years of finishing either bottom or near the bottom would disappear, he said, if his side won this. And he's on the verge of being man of the match in the final on the day that Connacht eventually lift a trophy. 4 minutes to go.
Oh, they've got a penalty. This ball is going nowhere.
Triggs has been penalised. Connacht use up these seconds with advantage being played. Rob can't take it, but no worries for Connacht, and they get a penalty further upfield as well.
Miles, Connacht asked the question, what fuels blind faith? Well, character, commitment, and an abundance of talent. They're living the dream, they're playing out the dream, and history beckons.
Man of the match just announced to the crowd. They like it.
Well, what couldn't you like about a performance like that? And he encapsulates everything about Connacht. You know, we've seen a lot of flash stuff today. We've seen some stuff you couldn't have conceived Connacht playing before Lam arrived there. But it's underpinned with integrity and pride and belief. An amazing performance from man and team.
Heffernan throws, and Connacht again quite happy at the moment to keep it tight. The team that played with so much ambition earlier in the game. Well, they won't lose sight of any potential scoring opportunity, but this is the right thing to do. The captain goes down. And it is Leinster ball, but now with just over 2 minutes is their time.
Still, you talk about man on the team, it's hard to tell them both apart. They are one and the same. And that green jersey out on our field today.
And I think a word on Leinster. They did finish the season top, but there was never real conviction after their awful European campaign that Leo Cullen has a team that's quite right yet. This is nothing like the championship winning teams. I think Cullen did a very good job getting them back on their feet after the horrors of Europe, but they have not looked against the best teams convincing. Last week now looks like a little bit of a flash in the pan. They've come up against a strong Connacht team, and they've been by some distance, the second best team here.
McGrath in a desperate attempt to see if there was anything on up the blind side. There wasn't. Connacht have control of this now.
And Leinster just Connacht have wings who can go a long way. Leinster just don't have the pace to go from this distance.
Sexton almost intercepted there. It has in fact gone forward, and Connacht now know that it is going to be their trophy, and all they are going for is the crowning glory of just one more score against their old rivals Leinster in the final. They are going to win the Pro12.
Yeah, and how happy is Robbie Henshaw going to be in Leinster's changing rooms next year as the champion?
Is he thinking at the moment, what have I moved for? Well, look, the chance for the runners-up.
So one last scrum. There are going to be some tears of joy tonight for Connacht Rugby. And anybody connected with the province, so proud of their side. Muldoon, O'Brien, Muldowney. It could have been man of the match. So many could have been man of the match. But it's gone to the leader. As the trophy will go to the leader. Nigel Owens wants one more play
They'll just have to press hold on those celebrations, but they know they're coming. Pat Lam, the mastermind of it all.
A momentous occasion for Connacht, a momentous occasion for Irish rugby. But John Muldoon and the rest of his team, they've been heroic, quite simply heroic, and an outstanding performance today. Thoroughly deserved to be Pro12 champions.
You know, we live in an age of processes and targets and professionalism, and what Connacht have done today as well is just rekindle romance in rugby, and it has been heartwarming.
Oh, look at that scrum right at the end. Referee gives the free kick.
Let him go.
And McGrath will try and go, but for what? There's nothing left for Leinster here. They will be the runner-up. They will not get to their 5th title. And Connacht will get to their 1st. And the deliciousness of this for Connacht, the fact that they are beating Leinster, the icing on their celebration cake here at Murrayfield, in this never-to-be-forgotten Guinness Pro12 final, played out in front of a record crowd. There goes Murphy, good offloading. Madigan, his final moments in a Leinster jersey before he goes to France. And they've done well to get to halfway, or towards that mark. But Connacht have the game.
God knows what Galway will be like tonight.
Fun.
Release!
All around us, those celebrations have begun. In fact, for the last 5 or 6 minutes, when it became apparent that Connacht were not going to panic, they were going to hold their nerve, and they are going to hold the trophy in a sporting season of dreams and fairy tales. Add the Connacht name to the list. The poor relations have just struck gold.